One evening, I was sitting on the porch with my grandfather when he asked me a question I wasn't prepared for. "Son, if you're earning money every month, but none of it is growing, do you honestly believe your life will ever change?" I didn't answer. The truth was uncomfortable. I received a paycheck every month. But after paying rent, groceries, subscriptions, car payments, and other expenses, my bank balance always returned to almost zero. It felt like I was running as fast as I could, without actually moving forward. Grandpa looked at me and said, "Here's the truth most people never learn: earning money alone won't make you wealthy. You become wealthy by keeping and growing part of what you earn." That sentence stayed with me. I asked him, "What exactly do you mean by growing money?" Grandpa leaned back and said, "Most people spend their lives trading time for money. They work, receive a paycheck, spend it, and then repeat the same cycle the following month. But financially successful people do something different. They build systems in which their money can eventually begin working for them. That is one of the biggest differences between earning an income and building wealth." For the first time, I realized that my income might not have been the real problem. Perhaps the problem was how I managed it. Grandpa then asked me another question. "If your paycheck stopped arriving today, how many months could you survive?" I thought about my savings. My answer made me uncomfortable. Grandpa said, "That number is a better measurement of your financial position than your salary. You may earn a good income, drive a nice car, and own expensive things. But if missing 2 paychecks would destroy your life, you are not financially free. You're trapped inside a cycle. You work. Money arrives. Bills take it away. Then you must work again. And that cycle will continue until you deliberately decide to break it." Grandpa always believed that time was either building your future or quietly taking opportunities away from you. Every financial decision mattered. The money I spent today couldn't work for me tomorrow. The money I invested today could continue growing long after the work that earned it was finished. I started listening more carefully because his words felt deeply personal. Grandpa asked, "You work hard every day. So why is there almost nothing left at the end of the month?" Before I could respond, he answered, "Because you know how to earn money, but you haven't learned how to make money produce more money." I asked, "How does money produce more money?" He replied, "Money doesn't grow simply because you worked hard to earn it. It grows through a system. It requires discipline, patience, consistency, and the willingness to put it back to work." Then he said something I'll never forget. "If hard work alone created wealth, every construction worker, nurse, teacher, and warehouse employee would be a millionaire. They work incredibly hard, but hard work primarily creates income. A strong financial system can transform that income into wealth." That was when I began to understand the difference. A paycheck can support your current life. A financial system can help create your future. Grandpa continued, "The biggest middle-class trap isn't always a lack of income. Sometimes, it's a mindset. We're taught to study hard, find a stable job, and avoid unnecessary risks. Those lessons aren't wrong, but most people are never taught how to save, invest, understand debt, or build assets." Then he pointed toward my phone and said, "Every time people earn more, they immediately find new ways to spend more. A raise becomes a newer car. A bonus becomes a vacation. A better job becomes a more expensive apartment. From the outside, their lives appear to be improving. But financially, they may be standing in exactly the same place." He paused before adding, "We often sell tomorrow's freedom to purchase today's comfort." That was the lifestyle trap. And I suddenly realized that I had been living inside it. Grandpa gave me a simple example. "Imagine 2 young men," he said. "They live in the same city, earn the same salary, and have similar opportunities. But 10 years later, their financial lives look completely different. The first man receives his paycheck and immediately upgrades his lifestyle. He buys the newest phone, leases an expensive car, orders food constantly, takes trips he cannot comfortably afford, and uses credit cards to maintain an image of success. As his income increases, his expenses increase with it. He appears wealthy. But his entire lifestyle depends on the next paycheck. He slowly becomes trapped by car payments, credit card balances, subscriptions, and financial pressure. And the most dangerous part is that he doesn't realize he's trapped, because everyone around him is doing the same thing." "Now consider the second man," Grandpa continued. "He earns the same amount, but he follows a different system. Before spending his paycheck, he automatically moves a percentage into savings and long-term investments." I interrupted him. "So he just saves money?" Grandpa shook his head. Saving and investing have different purposes. Saving protects money and provides security. Investing gives money an opportunity to grow. But it also involves risk, which is why you must learn before you begin. The second man first builds an emergency fund. He pays down high-interest debt. Then he consistently invests for long-term goals using diversified investments he understands. He doesn't wait to see what remains at the end of the month. He pays his future first. That single habit eventually changes everything. At first, his progress appears painfully slow. During the first year, his investment growth is barely noticeable. The second year doesn't feel dramatically different. Even after 3 years, he may wonder whether his sacrifices are worthwhile. That is where many people quit. They expect long-term investing to produce immediate excitement. But Grandpa explained it differently. Money is like a seed, he said. When you plant a seed, it doesn't become a tree the following morning. First, it develops roots beneath the surface. You can't see the progress, but something important is happening. With enough time, care, and patience, that tiny seed becomes a tree. Eventually, the tree begins producing fruit, and some of that fruit can create even more trees. That is similar to compounding. Your original money can potentially earn returns. If those returns remain invested, they may begin generating additional returns. Growth can appear small in the beginning. But time and consistency can make the results increasingly meaningful. Grandpa continued the story. After several years, the two men may still appear similar from the outside. But beneath the surface, everything is changing. The first man owns expensive things, but also carries expensive debt. The second man lives more simply, but owns assets that may continue growing. After 10 or 20 years, the gap between them could become enormous. One man still depends completely on his next paycheck. The other has built savings, investments, and more control over his time. He may continue working, but now he works because he chooses to, not simply because one missed paycheck would ruin him. That is the difference between obligation and freedom. In the beginning, you work for money. Over time, if you consistently save and invest wisely, your money may begin working alongside you. That is the real turning point. Grandpa warned me that this journey would not always feel exciting. The human brain wants immediate results, he said. That's why people struggle with long-term investing. Investing is often slow, quiet, and boring. Spending is fast, visible, and exciting. A new phone gives you instant satisfaction. An investment account may take years before its progress feels meaningful. But temporary excitement can cost you lasting freedom. Then he looked directly at me and said, "If you learn to control your impulses, you can begin controlling your money. When you control your money, you gain more control over your choices. And when you control your choices, you begin taking control of your life." Finally, Grandpa gave me a simple starting system. First, understand where your money goes. Second, spend less than you earn. Third, build an emergency fund. Fourth, eliminate high-interest debt as quickly as possible. Fifth, consistently invest a portion of your income in diversified assets you understand. And finally, be patient. You don't need to become wealthy overnight. You need to build habits that prevent you from remaining broke forever. That evening changed the way I looked at every paycheck. I realized that wealth wasn't about looking successful. It was about building security, owning assets, and gaining control over my time. Your income is important. But what you keep, how you use it, and how long you allow it to grow can matter even more. So ask yourself one honest question. If my income stopped today, how long could I survive? Your answer may be uncomfortable. But it could also be the beginning of your financial transformation. If this story taught you something valuable, tap the like button and share your biggest lesson in the comments. Subscribe for more powerful stories about money, business, psychology, and personal growth. And remember, hard work can help you earn money, but patience, discipline, and a strong system are what can help you build wealth.